You wouldn't imagine Japan looking like that, would you? I expect that was a very interesting programme to make, taking the crew to various countries across the world, as did Struggle for Democracy, which is on Monday nights at 10:35. Back to this afternoon now, and our Scott Sports special.
Welcome to Pittodrie Stadium in Aberdeen. A glorious day and in prospect a match which could all but settle the league championship. Good afternoon to you. A win for Rangers will take the Ibrox side within touching distance of that title, but Aberdeen are conceding nothing and they're desperate for those 2 points as well. Let's take a look at the league table, and we find that Rangers are 6 points clear of Aberdeen, 5 points clear of Hearts, and 2 wins for Rangers will give them that championship. Joining me this afternoon to analyse the match is the former St Mirren, Leeds, Manchester United and Scotland centre-half, also the ex-Airdrie manager and now a coach at Love Street, Gordon McQueen. Welcome to you. Did we get everything in there?
Just about, I think.
Hugely important game here today, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so for both teams, and particularly Aberdeen, because it's win or bust for Aberdeen today. Even if Aberdeen do succeed today, I still think they've left themselves too much to do to win the championship.
But obviously a lot of pride at stake for them. They love to beat Rangers here, don't they?
Oh, certainly. They beat them the last time they played the Blade here, and obviously they're playing for, even if things don't go well for Aberdeen today, they're playing for places in the Cup final. I mean, they've had a good season so far, Skull Cup final and a possible Scottish Cup final coming up if they can get past Dundee United. But I think, as I say, I think they've left themselves just a little bit too much to do, 6 points behind Rangers.
Are Rangers back on form, do you think? Did the 3-0 win against Celtic last week signal that everything's OK at Ibrox again?
Well, I think so. Obviously, previous to that, they stuttered a bit, but I mean, they were very, very impressive last week. I mean, their midfield in particular swamped all over the top of Celtic, and then they get great service up to people like Walters, McCoy and Johnson. And if they do that today, you give these boys good service and they'll cause you trouble.
Why do you reckon Aberdeen have fallen so far behind? Do they lack a killer touch, do you think?
It's very difficult to say. Obviously, they've had injuries. Snelders and Willie Miller won't help things, although they've got capable replacements and people like Brian Evan and Bobby Minns. I think Bobby Minns has only lost 1 game since he's been here and played 8 matches, so he's certainly not been a failure. But obviously, influential people like that hasn't helped Aberdeen's cause.
We hope to be speaking to Jim Bett shortly. He is someone who, clearly, if he's on form and he fancies it today, can have a good go at running the game.
Oh, Jim Bett can't have players, and Graham Souness will testify. I think he tried to get him to Ibrox not so long ago. And he's obviously been an influential player for Aberdeen and Scotland, as he's proved in Scotland's World Cup qualifying games, and he'll be a very, very important player for Scotland when we get to Italy. And then he's certainly somebody that could turn the game in Aberdeen's favour today. Exciting
prospect too, the 2 strike forces, McCoy and Johnston, Halehouse and Nicholas.
Yeah, very much so. Certainly a lot at stake for people like Hans Halehouse and Charlie Nicholas. I think Ali McCoy and Mo Johnston are almost guaranteed to be going to Italy, but they'll be... Charlie's just about in the fringe of things just now, and this would help his cause today if, if it's a big live game, big game against Rangers, if he had to do something today. And Hans Halehouse as well, he's looking to get into the Dutch World Cup squad. But with strikers like that, all depends. If the midfield can give them service, they'll cause defences any problems.
OK, we'll speak more to you shortly. There was never any doubt that this game was going to be another Pittodrie sellout. Aberdeen Rangers is always an attractive proposition for the fans, and that certainly applies to this one today. Reporter Jim Delahunt has been speaking to both sets of supporters.
Aberdeen still playing for the championship or just for pride today?
Well, not sure. It could be. Could be lucky.
You think they can beat Rangers this afternoon?
Aye, I think so.
What about yourself? What about a prediction from you?
Confident. I think Aberdeen will probably win about 2-1, but the league's lost anyway.
So you're conceding the league?
We'll win a cup, OK.
What about you? The league and the cup, or just the cup now?
The cup, I would say certainty, but the league with outside chance maybe.
So championship party today?
Yeah, we've got tickets for Motherwell next week, so if we win the day, that's us next week, we're off.
So what do you fancy for a scoreline?
3-0 to Rangers, same as last week, no problem.
That sounds a bit ambitious.
It's Aberdeen, we're playing. Easily.
Hans Gilhouse, no problem.
Well,
Big Terry will have him in his pocket.
Aberdeen looking good. They certainly fancy their chances today. You honestly can't expect a 3-0 victory.
Aberdeen's too far behind us in the league to come back now.
Rangers had a bad run.
Champions.
Had a bad run. We're on a good run now. Beat Celtic 3-0 last week. And last time we came here, we lost 1-0. We were at a game as well. and we should have won that game. As soon as says we played great football.
Those were the pre-match thoughts of some of the fans enjoying the Aberdeen weather. But what about the most important people, the players, of course, who will start doing their stuff at 3 o'clock this afternoon. The Rangers players have been out getting used to the Aberdeen pitch, which is certainly looking pretty hard. And what about the Aberdeen players? They certainly don't need to go walkabout. They know this playing surface all too well. Jim Dillahunt has been downstairs and he's been speaking to Jim Bett.
Jim, Aberdeen players looking forward to this afternoon?
I would think so. I mean, the games this season have been very good for both teams, and it's 2 each so far. So everybody's looking forward to a good game today.
I think a lot of people hoped that this would be a championship decider. Do you still have any faint hopes at all?
Well, I think so. I think you've got to keep playing away just now. Obviously, Rangers are 6 points clear, but we've got a lot to play for. We've got a cup semi-final next week, so we've got to have a good win today and hopefully go on next week.
Must have been disappointing, though, for you dropping the point against Dundee last week.
It was very much so, because I think in the second half especially we had a lot of the game, you know, and we just couldn't score. So as I said, we've got to put a good performance on today for the Dundee United game.
Good luck, Jim. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break there. Coming up, the thoughts of Aberdeen manager Alex Smith. Commentator Jock Brown chats with the man who'll be sitting alongside him this afternoon. That's Ian St John. And the best of Aberdeen and Rangers in action. Join us again in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Pittodrie this afternoon. Our match commentator Jock Brown is joined in the commentary box by Ian St John. They're down at the trackside now, looking forward to the big game.
Just before kick-off now, do you think there's any chance that Rangers may decide to go out here and hold what they have, bearing in mind that should be enough for the championship?
Well, no, I think this is a cup tie here today. There's a cup tie atmosphere, and I think it'll be played in that spirit. And I think Rangers will come out to try and win the game, knowing that if they do win it today, then near enough they've sewn it up. And what a place to win it. They won it here before, didn't they? And I think Rangers will want to come out and win it here at Aberdeen against what is a very good Aberdeen side.
Now, what do Alex Smith and Jockey Scott say to their men about this particular match? 6 points behind, hoping to close the gap.
Well, I think they will say that obviously they've got to win it. So, I mean, Aberdeen have got to go out and win it. You're saying Rangers don't have to win it. A draw might do them. But I think they will want to win it. So the whole thing is built up around both teams going out and having a go. And that's why I think it'll be a cracking game. The atmosphere, as you know, at the moment is building up. So it's going to be a real hotbed this afternoon. And I think we'll see a game of attacking football, excitement, hopefully, and goals.
And one thing that's happened this morning to help that has been the fact that Aberdeen have watered the pitch quite heavily.
Well, I had a look at that there, and I know the players are very happy with this. There's a nice covering of grass on it. They've watered it to take the bone out of it because, I mean, this is like midsummer up here in Aberdeen. I can't believe it. But the pitch is perfect for the game, and it will suit the players that they can play a bit of football, keep it on the ground.
Now, what do you think will be the key areas of the match?
Well, key areas are always in midfield. Who controls midfield controls the ball, and so that is a key area. And Jim Bett, I know, will be wanting to do well against his old team. But I always think the Aberdeen fullbacks do well against Rangers. I think they go on and make the play, and I think they'll be a couple of key men as well. But Rangers will be wanting to try and get the ball up to the two strikers. Aberdeen, of course, knowing how dangerous they are, will be trying to shut that service out to them.
And of course, there are incentives for a number of these players, perhaps the fringe men for the World Cup like Stuart McKimmie and Hans Hillhouse for the Holland.
Sure, I mean, Hillhouse I haven't seen live. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I gather he's a terrific player. We've only seen the goals, you know, the goals we get sent down to us. He looks a very good player, so I'm looking forward to seeing him this afternoon.
And do you think the effect of winning that Skull Cup final will be a good one for Aberdeen?
Well, that's given them a great boost of confidence, you know, to have beaten Rangers in the big one, in this kind of hotbed atmosphere at Hampden Park. Why not do it again today? So I think they'll be very confident, Aberdeen.
Let's see what happens, Ian. Thanks very much.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks to Jock and thanks to Ian. Let's remind ourselves now of what these two teams have got to offer. Aberdeen already have the Skull Cup locked away in the trophy cabinet. They're in the Scottish Cup semi-finals. That's next week. Injuries have hampered their league campaign, and really only the die-hard Dons fans would give Aberdeen a chance of catching Rangers in the championship race. Let's see Aberdeen in action. happy Willie Miller, although not so happy Willie Miller today, of course, with the Dons defender still out of first-team action. Gordon, where do Aberdeen come in your rankings of the top Scottish teams at the moment?
Well, obviously they're right up, as their league position proves, and their cup success so far this season proves they're right up there with Rangers, obviously. I mean, I think, as I said earlier, I think they've got too much to do in the league championship race with a 6-point gap. But it looks as if, you know, they've won one cup and have a chance of winning another, so obviously they're smashing side.
They've saved a lot of their best stuff for the cup. We saw it in that action sequence there. A lot of their best goals have come. 12 goals they've scored in their 3 cup ties.
Yeah, they've banged in a few. You've seen Big Van der Aert, who unfortunately for Aberdeen isn't playing today. I mean, we've got Neely Simpson in his place, and it's nice to see Neely Simpson back because obviously he's had terrible injury problems lately. But I think Terry Butcher and Richard Goff will be quite pleased that Van der Aert's not playing because he's a big awkward customer. I mean, he's got his critics, some say his touch isn't that good, his control, but he bangs the goals in it and it can be awkward.
It underlines Aberdeen's strength and depth, doesn't it, that Van der Aert's out, and in comes Neil Simpson, a Scottish international. They've also got Ian Cameron on the bench this afternoon, who can come on and do a good job. We all remember that great Skull Cup semi-final goal we got against Celtic.
Well, that's one of the most important things in football today. You've got to have strength and depth, and also taking into consideration that Snelders is out and Willie Miller's out, and to be winning championships or cups nowadays, you've got to have the strength and depth, and if you haven't got that, at some time in the season you're going to get suspensions, you're going to get injuries, and if you haven't players like Neil Simpson to come into your squads, you don't win things.
What about Brian Irvine? What sort of job do you think he's done? Is he developing as a deputy for Miller?
Well, I mean, the highest compliment I could play Brian Irvine is I don't think they've missed Willie Miller that much since Brian Irvine's come in. Obviously, he's a player that a lot of clubs would want if he became available on the transfer market, and Alex Smith, I'm sure, knows he's a very, very important player for Aberdeen, and he'd command a place in most Premier League sides.
Willie Miller will be up to get you after hearing that he's dispensable. But Gordon, for the moment, thanks very much. Now on to Rangers. Well, they lost out to Aberdeen, of course, in that Skull Cup final. It was Celtic who did them in the Scottish Cup. In the league campaign, there's been really little to touch them after a shaky start, too. They've shown signs of slipping in recent weeks, but their main rivals have dropped points as well. Let's see Rangers in action. Gordon, how good are Rangers? The cynics would say they're maybe just the best of a fairly mediocre bunch in Scotland at the moment. Is there anything in that?
Well, obviously, I think the most important thing for Rangers and Graham Souness is improve themselves in the European arena, which they haven't really done yet. But it looks to me as if they're going to win the championship this year, so they're going to have another bash at the European Cup next year. And I'm quite sure they're well equipped to go far in that. Maybe just need another extra special player in the middle of the park, you know, maybe a young Graham Souness, for instance, just to make them that little bit special. But they could go a long way, and they're a smashing side.
Trevor Steven is a high-quality player, but he's tended to flit in and out of things. He hasn't really dominated games over a long period, has he?
No, I think the Rangers midfield, you know, they've lost players, there's been players, it's never really been settled for any length of time, you know. Over the last 2 or 3 years, I mean, they lost Graham Souness as a player, they've lost Ray Wilkins, the Durant injury, Ferguson's been in and out, and Trevor Stevens had to flit from position to position, and he's settled down, and I think everybody's pretty happy with the way he's playing at the moment.
McCoist and Johnson had a great spell earlier in the season. That was really the spell that has won Rangers the title, if indeed they're to go on and do so. But they've gone through a dodgy spell of late. Do you see them back on form? They obviously both scored last week.
Well, on the evidence of last week's performance against Celtic, certainly I think it's difficult for strikers to maintain a high level of consistency right throughout the season. I think there's always going to be at some stage in the season when they have little bare patches, don't knock in the goals. But as I say, last Saturday they were very, very impressive against Celtic. And are the type of players, if you give them the good service, you get good, your midfield dominates, get the ball to Walters, get it to Johnson, get it to McCoist, they'll do you a lot of damage.
All sounds really simple, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you're interested to know how the FA Cup finals are going in England, I can tell you that one match kicked off at 12 noon, and in that one, Crystal Palace beat Liverpool 4-3. Yes, that's true. And the other one kicks off at 3 o'clock. That's Manchester United against Oldham. And if we have time before the end of the programme, we'll squeeze in a few details about that. The man plotting the downfall of Rangers here this afternoon is the Aberdeen manager, Alex Smith. I spoke to him a short time ago down in the Pittodrie boot room. How disappointed is he? Aberdeen's slim hopes of the title depend on Rangers blowing it.
Obviously, I would want to be closer to Rangers. Last weekend, I felt we had our best opportunity to get close to them. We had an opportunity ourselves to win at Dundee, and we didn't take that opportunity. We played well enough without winning the game, and Rangers had an excellent result on Sunday, which makes life a bit more difficult for us. Although I'm not prepared at this stage to say that everything's finished. If we win today, then we can get things closer again, and it's going to be interesting the last couple of games after that.
Aberdeen are much admired as a side who play good football. On the negative side, do you think Aberdeen lack a mean streak, maybe a killer touch, which has lost you vital points during the season?
That would be easy for me to say that and use that as a reason for our indifferent results. I think there was more to do with what happened to us in and around Boxing Day and the end of December, when we lost 6 players within a short space of time. And when you lose that kind of quality, despite the fact that you may have a strong squad, there's always something gives, and you then start getting slightly inconsistent results. And when that was happening to us, Rangers were winning the games, and there was a gap created. But at that stage, I wouldn't have said that we were without a mean streak then, because we were winning the Gold Cup and we were doing well and we were at the top of the league. We need a particular type of player maybe to complement the type of players we have.
Obviously, today's game is important in terms of league points. It's also important in terms of keeping the form going for the Cup semi-final against Dundee United.
Yes, it's very important for a lot of reasons, Robbie. We have players here trying to play themselves in international squads, for instance. It's very important for them. The game's been watched by millions of people on television. It's very important from a prestige point of view. The fact that Rangers and Aberdeen have played each other 4 times so far this season, and both clubs have won twice, makes it very interesting from that point of view as well, and it's very prestigious. So we would like to win the game, and also from the point of view that we play in the Scottish Cup next week against Dundee United, it would be a nice confidence booster.
We had hoped to speak to Rangers about this afternoon's match, obviously, but Rangers are still enforcing a policy of non-cooperation towards Scottish television. Gordon McQueen's always good for a bit of cooperation, we hope. Prediction this afternoon?
Well, I don't think I'd like to make a living predicting Aberdeen Rangers games. On the way up to Aberdeen today, I thought, well, we might be looking at a score draw here today, but I detect a little bit of pessimism with Aberdeen supporters, maybe 1 or 2 of the players, Jim Beck talking before the game, and I'm going to go for a Rangers win today. OK, we might hold that against you later on. Let's cross to the commentary box now. You will hear from Ian St John. You'll hear now from Jock Brown.
Thank you, Rob. Yes, you come over just as the teams are expected to take the field. And Pittodrie looking an absolute picture for this afternoon's match. And there is the Aberdeen lineup confirmed. And you'll see the principal change from the expected lineup is Willem van der Ark is out. And the replacement is Neil Simpson. Bobby Mims continues in goal with Theo Snelders not deemed fit enough yet to play. And Willie Miller was not considered either because of his injury problems. So a very interesting change that by Aberdeen, which we'll analyse a little more later on. And the Rangers side has turned out to be exactly as expected. That appears to be their recognised top 11 now. They have on the bench Davy Dodds, formerly with Aberdeen, and John Brown. So a little bit of power on the bench also for Rangers, should that be required. So there's the news from the two camps as far as teams concerned, Ian, and the significant change for Aberdeen, Neil Simpson coming in. That appears to mean a midfield player for a striker with Willem van der Ark out. What do you make of that?
Well, sometimes, you know, you look at a football team and think, we've brought a midfield player in, that means we're going to play defensive football. It's not always the case. I mean, Neil Simpson, he hasn't played much football this year at all. So it's a case of, will he be fit enough to go the 90 minutes, because this is going to be a hectic game. And I think that's one factor we'll have to look at as a game unfolds. But he's a very good player, although there's no love lost between him and the Rangers fans. But I'm sure he's got over that little problem. But looking at the teams, you know, you see Rangers have got their two strikers, Johnston and McCoist, have scored the bulk of their goals along with Mark Walters, where in the Aberdeen lineup, it's more spread out. You know, Hillhouse has got 10, Paul Mason 15, Charlie's got 12, Betts got 6, you know, Grant's got 7. So, I mean, they've spread their goals around the team, whereas the Rangers have gone for the two biggies up the front and grabbing all the goals for them.
Just talking about that fitness point, Ian, that does seem to be significant. Neil Simpson hasn't played in the first team for 10 weeks. Now, how difficult is it, you've been in this position, how difficult is it to come back after such a layoff and come into a match at this level?
Well, it's going to be difficult for him. I mean, all depends, you know, the type of training he's been doing, if he's been getting some matches with the reserve team. But it will be difficult because you come into this type of football, the pace of the game, the atmosphere itself drains you and nervous tension, and it will affect him. And we might look at that later in the game and say, well, there you are, Simpson's dragging a bit here. He might have to get the hook and be taken off.
Interesting too in the Rangers setup with their midfield, with Trevor Stephen, Ian Ferguson and Nigel Spackman there with Mark Walters. Could there be some significance in the positioning of Stephen and Ferguson?
Well, yes, I mean, I think Trevor Stephen can play two positions. He can play wide on the right, and he's very good at that, or at least he certainly was down in England. And he can play inside, tucked in that inside position in midfield, and he can use that as well because he can pass the ball. He's a good player. So it'll be interesting to see today how the Rangers line up with Trevor Stephen.
So there's the Aberdeen team taking the field. It's very unusual to find any team getting a warmer welcome than Rangers in such a match in Scotland, but with the beach end only populated by Rangers supporters, comprising about 5,000 in all, the rest of the crowd, that means 17,500 all here backing the home side, Aberdeen. So there's Charlie Nicholas, who scored, as Ian St John said, 12 goals this season, but he scored none in his opening 19 matches, and he scored 12 in the last 20, so he really is in good scoring form now. And while he's a big threat, perhaps the major current threat is the Dutchman, Hans Hillhouse, who's come into Scottish football with a bang. He had a little bit of injury problem which slowed him down somewhat. He's scored 10 times since that fabulous debut he made against Dunfermline back in November. And Ali McCoist came back to scoring form last week against Celtic with that penalty kick, and he really needed that goal quite badly. He hadn't scored for some time before that, and he's also anxious, of course, about his Scotland international place. And Maurice Johnston too has continually knocked in goals. He's scored nothing but singles in his Rangers career. He's never scored more than one goal in a match for Rangers, but he scored 16 in all. And the referee this afternoon is Mr. David Syme from Rutherglen, who replaces the original selection, George Smith, a World Cup referee who's still suffering from that Achilles injury. And David Syme has had a busy weekend because yesterday he was at Ochilview refereeing Stennismuir against Dumbarton. So glorious conditions for the start of the match. The pitch heavily watered this morning, so it won't be fiery or dusty as Rangers get the match underway, and the crowd settles down to what could well be a showpiece for Scottish football. So Brian Irvine with a pass back giving his goalkeeper, Bobby Mims, an early touch. Mims playing his last match for Aberdeen before returning to Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow. His loan period expired. An early touch for the Rangers back four players, Gary Stevens and Richard Goff. And for the keeper, Chris Woods. Chris Woods has the backing of the Rangers fans behind him at that beach end. Irvine going up with Johnston. Connor's clearance. Goff coming in behind Hillhouse. Hillhouse wins it. There's Stuart Monroe. McCoy's trying to screen the ball from Irvine. Here's Walters. McKimmie trying to block any cross. Oh, the stumble there from Walters. Here's Spackman. Driving towards the byline, and it's Irvine who's forced to concede the first corner kick of the match. Well, an unfortunate start there for Mark Walters, although Rangers still kept the pressure on with Nigel Spackman, the supporting player. So Terry Butcher goes to the near post. Richard Goff is at the far corner of the box. Trevor Stephen once again with the corner kick. All the noise you hear coming from Rangers fans at the moment. So Stephen trying to place the ball within the D there for the corner kick. Has to resort to some rugby player tactics there to create a spot for the ball. Headed away there by Brian Grant. Stuart Monroe will take this throw for Rangers. Checking with the referee the correct place for the throw. Johnston. Robbed by McKimmie. There's Spackman. The ball breaking back to give Rangers another throw. So Aberdeen finding it difficult to get quality possession at this stage of the match. The referee looking towards the line to let play continue. Here's McCoy, now Walters. And Trevor Stephen was inches away. A chance there as the ball was deflected towards Stephen. And the referee has given a goal kick, but good work here by Maurice Johnston. Then by McCoy, setting this up for Mark Walters. Driving the ball across, it appeared to take a deflection. Stephen couldn't get a touch. And it's surprising that that was given as a goal kick.
Well, nice to see that Stevens is prepared to get himself forward and get in that box. Because it's very important, you know, that if somebody's going to knock the ball across, the midfield players have got to be up there in support.
And while we thought that the introduction of Neil Simpson might push Aberdeen into 4-4-2, the early stages indicate that Paul Mason is going to play right up front with Nicholas and Hillhouse, retaining that 4-3-3 shape.
And Trevor Stephen playing wide for Rangers, as we thought, Jock.
Here's Connor. Getting some help from his skipper, Alec McLeish. Goff winning it well from Hillhouse. Hillhouse backing into Goff. The referee allows play to continue with Rangers in possession, despite the howls of the Rangers fans for a free kick. The free kick has now been given for the tackle by Alec McLeish on Maurice Johnston. Rangers still going forward. It's been a convincing start from Rangers. Stephen to Spackman. Now Walters. The cover provided there by Simpson. Stephen brought down by Hillhouse. The referee's given the free kick. Well, Hans Hillhouse known more for his goal scoring and creative talents than for that kind of tackle. Well taken by Mims. Very commanding figure in the Aberdeen goal. Playing his 8th match. He's just been on the losing side once. Well, an unorthodox kick out, resulting in the ball being returned there for a free kick given for some elbow work inside the box.
Yeah, you're right there. Little Mo was getting just too close to him there, and the referee decided, you know, he was infringing.
Beautifully cushioned layoff there by Hillhouse for Bet. Well challenged by Stephen. That's too far ahead of McCoist. McLeish to Connor. Aberdeen so adept at playing football from defence. Connor couldn't get there in time. That's a throw to Rangers. Well, Rangers will be content, I think, with this opening 5-minute spell. They've bedded down very convincingly, Ian.
Yes, started off in a very positive manner, and as we thought, because I mean there's no point in coming to a game such as this with so much at stake and sitting back and expecting to win the match. They've got to have a go.
So this time the throw goes to Aberdeen, and Jim Bett will take it. Simpson offering himself short. Nicholas and Hillhouse doing some cross running up on the left flank. Turned away by Butcher. Very diligent marking by the Rangers defence. Irvin showing himself inside, tackled instantly by Spackman. This is Bet. A shimmy to make space for himself. McKimmie calls for the ball on the far side. Leaping very early for that ball, but Stuart Monroe was well in control of things at the back for Rangers. Misjudged by both McCoist and Connor. Little push there by McCoist, and the referee's given the free kick. So a capacity crowd here at Pittodrie, 22,500 in this superb all-seater stadium. In summery conditions, it is very pleasant indeed overhead. Little breeze which Aberdeen are playing into at the moment. Goff going for the ball. Nicholas didn't. Now Richard Goff is clearly upset by that decision, and referee Syme giving the free kick against Rangers, although in fairness Goff seemed to be the player trying to play the ball, whereas Nicholas was not making any real attempt to jump.
I would agree with that, Jock. I think you're right in that one, and I'm always surprised when referees do that. You know, the defender goes for the ball, the forward bends his back, and the foul's against the defender.
A chance now for Aberdeen to get forward. Brian Irvin and Alec McLeish are in the box. It's won by Butcher. There's Simpson. Grant plays it wide. An awkward one for Jim Bett. That was almost an excellent pass. Bett hugging the left side of the Aberdeen midfield at this stage. There's Hillhouse. Back towards Grant. It's a second chance from Walters. Here's Nicholas away from Goff. Sidestepping Butcher, but Spackman was there with a challenge. And down goes Butcher. Free kick to Rangers. Charlie Nicholas inquiringly looking towards the referee, wondering why he didn't get a free kick. Spinning off the head of McLeish, that was Connor. Butcher hooks it clear. McKimmie caught there by Walters. Monroe keeps it in. Here's Brian Grant. The early pass trying to pick up Charlie Nicholas ahead. Nicholas, who always wants the ball played to feet. A little bit unhappy about the lack of accuracy in that pass. Irvin's header. Grant chesting it down to McKimmie. Stuart McKimmie taking some good-natured ribbing here at Aberdeen about his failure to score for the club for so long, and then pop up with that great goal for Scotland against Argentina. So free kick to Rangers. Will be taken by Richard Goff.
Well, white fetlocks today, Richard. I don't know, is that strapping he's got on there for his ankles?
Certainly appears to be.
Fancy socks.
Goff playing the long free kick. There was Terry Butcher. And an offside flag up against Maurice Johnston. Yes, Richard Goff was one of the Rangers players particularly pleased to find that the pitch had been watered. And clearly that reflects his little bit of anxiety about the hard grounds at this time of the year. So that may be the reason for that substantial ankle strapping. Mason's header. There's Hillhouse and Nicholas looking for Bet on the left. Retaining possession well away from Gary Stevens, who took a knock in that challenge with Bet. Back now with Nicholas taking on Stephen. Brilliance from Charlie Nicholas. The ball just shaving the bar in the end. Look at the way he takes this. He's thinking only of one thing now, getting a shot on target, taking on Trevor Stephen, and then the outside of the right boot, floating that just over the bar.
There was a little toe poke at the end of it, but lovely skill with Charlie. Saw the lovely dummy come inside, and then just had a little toe poke off his forward foot, just a shade over the bar, but lovely skill.
So Charlie Nicholas looking in the mood. There will be a hold-up before Chris Woods can take this goal kick, because Gary Stevens is getting some treatment. Remember, he was injured making that tackle on Jim Bett just a moment ago. Gary Stevens, one of the ever-presents in the Rangers lineup, was Stuart Monroe and Maurice Johnston, and a very resilient character. Phil Boersma administers the treatment. Certainly nothing sinister in the challenge. It was Stevens trying to play the ball and Bett spinning it. He looks to be in substantial trouble.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for Rangers, because normally when you get up the first time, if you've had a knock and the trainer's been on, you get up, it's a case of, you know, okay, I'm fine, and you go on with the game. But to sit back down again is obviously in some pain.
And indeed, Rangers are calling John Brown from a warm-up position behind Chris Wood's goal round to the dugout. It looks as though there may be an enforced change required by Rangers very early in the match. Well, let's have a look and see how this happened. There was Bet. There was the challenge made by Gary Stevens. It appeared to go over on his ankle, in fact, after making the challenge.
Very simply done. He just went over on his ankle. You're right enough, Jock.
So Rangers continue for the moment with 10 men to establish for sure whether or not Stevens may be fit to resume. But John Brown has been called there to the track. There's Graham Souness with Walter Smith. They're in the stand, of course. Here's Maurice Johnston. Well tackled by Mason. He tackles back very well indeed, the Aberdeen number 9. That's good play by Spackman and by McCoist. Stephen coming from the wide right position, dropped back to replace Gary Stevens for the moment. And McKimmie showing his confidence in Bobby Mims and in his own heading ability. Butcher's header. There's Walters. Brought down now by Irvin. Monroe doing well to keep that in play. There's an offside flag up. It was against Hans Hillhouse in the middle of the field, I think. Perhaps also Paul Mason on the flank. Hillhouse, though, I think, is the player judged offside. There's Walters. Back from Grant. Irvin playing it forward. So Aberdeen finding it difficult to get the ball through their midfield, with Grant on the right, Simpson in the middle, Bet on the left. The front three: Mason, Nicholas and Hillhouse. And here comes John Brown. Decision's taken. Gary Stevens will not be able to return, so John Brown comes on to replace him. Now this will involve some reorganisation, I think, of the Rangers back four, and I wonder if Richard Goff may be going to right back, or is it Stuart Monroe? Stuart Monroe it is, who's gone across to right back, with John Brown slotting in at left back. Timmy gets it back. Having to go into that heavy challenge on Spackman. There's Butcher. Irvin coming across. Connor to Bet. This is Connor. Careless ball inside, which McCoy was able to block but not control. McLeish takes it back from Mims. Hillhouse getting up well, but the head of Richard Gough won the day. Monroe's first involvement as an emergency right back. There's Bet. And Mason. Neil Simpson. McKimmy's made a run. And Walters did well coming back to intercept that pass. Aimed for McKimmy. And it's McKimmy who's been flagged offside, but the referee hasn't spotted that, and with Rangers in possession, the flag has gone down. Here's Johnston. Conlon wins it back. Mason's header. Here's Bet. Stepping away from Stephen. Getting a warm round of applause from the Aberdeen fans. Well, under pressure there from Ferguson. Irvin trying the long ball this time, looking for Mason in the middle. Header on, there's Monroe going in on Hillhouse. Well, I can't recall Stuart Monroe playing at right back at any other time in his career. And that certainly was a very good challenge in his new role on Hillhouse. Connor looking for Hillhouse. The marker again is Monroe. Simpson takes over. There's Grant letting the ball run. We've caught Walters. The free kick to Rangers. The Aberdeen fans are not at all pleased about that. They think that Walters made a great deal of this. Grant allowed that ball to run across him, then had to go in and appeared to make contact all right with the Rangers number 11. So Butcher will take this free kick. Gough has gone forward. That's aimed for Johnston. The struck the hand of Connor. Well, no question about that. That struck Robert Connor's hand, and referee Syme turns away. He's not interested at all, and clearly he's convinced that that was unintentional. Well, undoubtedly a controversial moment. But Rangers trying to get the ball out of midfield. It's picked up though by Nicholas. Here's Hillhouse. Challenged fiercely there by Stuart Monroe, and Ian Ferguson is caught there by Hillhouse. There's a free kick to Rangers, and Hans Hillhouse will be spoken to by referee David Syme. And that's the reason for it, that late tackle. And the referee allowing attention there for Ferguson. Well, Ian Ferguson, the second Rangers player to be in the wars after Gary Stevens had to be replaced early on by John Brown. Now some anxiety about Ian Ferguson. But a controversial moment there as that ball appeared to strike the hand of Connor.
Well, I thought the same as you when you said you felt it was accidental. There you are. I'm sure that Robert Connor didn't know where the ball was. It came over his head. His right arm was out there for balance as he jumped, and it hit his hand. And there's no way that he would intentionally hand the ball inside the penalty area when, you know. So really and truly it was an accident, and the Rangers players quite rightly, of course, looking for a penalty kick.
Quite clearly on the replay, Robert Connor appeared to be an innocent party. The referee Syme certainly was extremely well positioned. He was very close to the play. Clearly saw what happened, but made an instant judgment that it was an accident. So there's the spray on the right knee of Ian Ferguson.
I don't think Hillhouse can complain about getting booked in that incident there, because that was a rather late rash tackle. There's Andy Roxburgh there, who I came up on the flight with today from Manchester.
Andy Roxburgh with Craig Brown. Alex Smith right behind the Scotland pair, looking very pensive. And Ferguson limps back into the action. Very tough character, although he has had his problems with illness and injury this season. Richard Gough's free kick. Spikeman heading it on. There's Irvin. Headed away by Connor. Hillhouse down towards Bet. Simpson offers support inside. Hustled there by Trevor Stephen. Here's Irvin. He was bumped there on the way past by Mark Walters, so a free kick to Aberdeen. The referee clearly is determined to keep a very firm grip on things. A little bit of an exchange there between Johnston and Simpson, and suddenly things are becoming just a little bit tense.
It's all getting a little bit scrappy down there, but they're having a laugh now and maybe sorting it out. But it looks as if Ferguson having to go off as well.
Well, very serious indeed for Rangers. So early in the match, Ian Ferguson, who's had a most unfortunate season, started with that virus, then injury, and now he's been replaced by the former Aberdeen player Davy Dodds. And I reckon that will be a direct replacement. Dodds, I think, will go straight into that midfield role beside Nigel Spackman, vacated by Ferguson. McLeish with the free kick. One beaten by Butcher. Spackman's attempt at the pass back had to be sent wide of the target, and it has given Aberdeen the corner kick. Well, Spackman caught here eventually, facing his own goal, and he wanted to play this back to Chris Woods, but then saw that Charlie Nicholas was in the way and played it for the corner. Two skippers, McLeish and Butcher together. There's Irvin, and Woods just got a touch, turning it off the head of Brian Irvin. Another corner kick to Aberdeen. This was very close indeed. Woods at full strength just got the slightest touch here, and Irvin couldn't make contact. Put in by Paul Mason. A bit of pushing in the 6-yard box by Brian Irvin, picked up by referee Syme. The free kick to Rangers. Well, referee Syme is a very experienced official, 18 seasons on the Grade 1 list, so he's calling upon all his experience for this afternoon's match, which is undoubtedly full of tension. Walters did well despite that stumble. Brown looking for Johnston. The covering player is McLeish. Clearance goes straight to Walters. There's McKimmie, and a free kick has been given. Well, the referee certainly incurring the wrath of the Aberdeen fans. I'm not certain what that was for. I think Paul Mason was adjudged the culprit. Bit of pushing, perhaps. Rangers have the free kick, which John Brown will take once the referee has ensured that Paul Mason goes back 10 yards. Towards Davy Dodds. Simpson with Johnston. Cleared there by Grant. Down goes Spackman, and the culprit was Charlie Nicholas. It's a free kick again to Rangers. And there was Nicholas, he arrived late. The little strikers challenged that, mistimed. The referee content to give the free kick and acknowledged that that was a bad piece of timing by Nicholas rather than any malice. There's Butcher. McLeish mistimed that, marking Goff. There's Bet. Cool defensive play by Bet. Simpson back to McLeish. Turned away by Irvin. And Simpson tripped there by David Dodds.
Well, I must say, Jock, I've seen more fouls in 25 minutes in this match than you see in 90 minutes in other games. It's very petty at times, isn't it? You know, players are just coming in late, tripping people, pushing, shoving, and it's all a bit scrappy. It's nice to see when Jim Begg gets the ball, at least, you know, there's a bit of football getting played.
Yeah, it's disappointing action so far, midway through the first half. An offside decision against Charlie Nicholas. Well, we've had some outstanding play only in glimpses. One from Charlie Nicholas, a couple from Jim Bett, and we've seen some good play also in flashes only from Mark Walters for Rangers. Oh, the chant of champions from the Rangers supporters. Certainly a draw would be satisfactory over the piece as far as the championship outcome is concerned for Rangers. But they certainly started the match as though they really were intent on securing victory. It's all become a little bit bogged down though in the last 10 to 15 minutes. And an offside decision against Ally McCoist in the middle of the field. So a free kick to Aberdeen. And the match really has been played in staccato fashion in the opening 25 minutes. So many stoppages for free kicks. There's Connor. Back from Mason, and here's a chance for Walters on the break. He's got the legs of Irvin. Across comes McLeish. Well, delightful skills there from Mark Walters. He didn't quite have the accuracy, but perhaps the best chance of the match so far to Rangers.
Wonderful skill here by Mark Walters. Saw the keeper was off his line, stubbed his toe under it. Lovely, beautiful little chip. And very unfortunate to see it go wide. But you've got to ask, where were the Aberdeen defenders' edge up? They were all at sea, weren't they? So that was Rangers' best chance of the match so far.
And Mark Walters demonstrating one of the most difficult skills in the game. Chip in full flight. Here's Irvin. Now Mason. Being hounded all the way there by Spackman. And stopped in the end by Brown. And a good, solid tackle. Here's Stuart McKimmie now with the throw for Aberdeen. Nicholas coming short. That's a good turn away from Spackman. Playing it in there, looking for Hillhouse. And once again, Stuart Monroe doing a good job at the back for Rangers. Taking up good position. Cost £15,000 when he signed for Rangers from Alloa in 1984. A marvellous investment in Ibrox Club. Goff doing well against Bet. Here's McKimmie. Now Nicholas. Trying to play that through for Grant. And the ball scrambled away in rather unconvincing fashion by Rangers. To Walters, who's away from Simpson. Trying now to take on Brian Irvin. That's a good sliding challenge by the big defender. Well, Walter certainly causing some problems now for Aberdeen. McLeish trying to find Mason with that return pass, but Butcher is there for Rangers. There's McLeish. Tough exchange there. McLeish and McCoist together. It breaks for Grant. This is Mason. Good anticipation shown there by Brown. McKimmie in turn trying to find Grant, who'd broken on the right. The ball's gone out though for a Rangers throw. Rangers, of course, requiring some time to settle again. They made an impressive start to the match, then lost Gary Stevens and Ian Ferguson through injury. So with both substitutes committed, they've had to settle down once more in a new formation. And here's Trevor Stephen. Spackman. Stephen again. Running into McKimmie. Johnston bundled from the rear by Connor. That's a free kick to Rangers. And no one in any hurry to get the ball back. Well, the ball really has been, to a large extent, superfluous so far in the opening half hour or so. Terry Butcher going forward. He's at one corner of the box. Goff is at the other. As Spackman prepares to take this free kick. Won by Irvin. There's Hillhouse. Setting it up well for Bet. Aberdeen now getting players forward. Front three certainly making runs ahead. McLeish picking out McKimmie. Promising this for Aberdeen. Grant has made a run. Returned there by Mason. There's McKimmie. Well, that was a good move from Aberdeen. There is the scoreline on the half-hour mark. No scoring. Mark Walters coming closest to a goal with a fine chip shot a few months ago for Rangers. And Stuart McKimmie doing well on the run. That cross taken comfortably by Woods. This is Johnston and Walters. McCoy to Johnston. It came off Connor. Dodds now to Munro. Here's Trevor Stephen. Munro to Dodds. Stephen is offside. So was Stuart Munro. Aberdeen retaining their organisation and composure, not being tempted to go back. Well, now looking at that again, it's very questionable.
I think Robert Connor was a little bit slow in coming out there, Jock, and that was marginal. I tell you, I mean, if you're a Rangers fan, you'd be thinking that was onside.
Well, the two players going in opposite directions. I mean, it looked as though Stephen was well offside, but well, that replay certainly casts some doubt on the decision. So the throw for Aberdeen taken by Bet. Crowd strangely hushed again as Mason sends it across. Hillhouse trying to get the better of Brown, getting help from McKimmie. Mason trying to nudge that on. Bet was calling for the ball on the far side. And it lets it bounce. In goes Johnston. The linesman is flagging, and it's a foul against Johnston. Think of it a pulling and tugging there at Robert Connor. Free kick, looking for Hillhouse. He's beaten by Brown. Beautifully taken down by Walters. McKimmie showing him the line. Now showing him inside. Johnston looking for McCoy. Irvin is in the way. Here's Mason and Simpson. Played wide by Nicholas. Bet couldn't keep it in play. Aberdeen always anxious to get Jim Bet involved in their creative moves from midfield.
Well, he very rarely gives the ball away, Jim Bet. You know that when he's got it, Aberdeen will continue their attack, because Jim, doesn't like to just kick the ball away. He wants to use it, make sure he finds a red jersey with it. And I think he's done a very good game.
Well, he was the culprit there, conceding that free kick for the challenge on Stephen. It's taken by Goff. McLeish getting the better of McCoist. Throw is given to Aberdeen. Back it goes from Bet. Yes, Hillhouse, see how well he gets up. Butcher lofting that very high. He'll have to go for it again. Grant nudging it wide for McKimmie. Here's Nicholas and Mason. Grant has McKimmie free on the right. He's onside. And it came off Trevor Stephen. Appeals for handball. Waved aside again by the referee. Hopeful ones, I reckon, once again by the Aberdeen fans this time. Simpson returning it. That's an offside decision. Well, you could have anticipated that. Jim Bet throwing the ball to Simpson, and the Rangers defensive line then just moved straight out to prevent that return pass. Well, a game, Ian, which would certainly be the better of a goal.
Oh yes, I mean we've had a lot of scrappy play, one or two promising little moves. Aberdeen have got some very talented players, and when they get the ball and try to play it around and keep it on the ground, then they're looking quite dangerous.
Dodge playing it wide. Here's Maurice Johnston. Rangers pushing players into the box now. McLeish ensuring that ball didn't get across the face of his goal. There's Hillhouse, a careless one from Johnston, allowing Hillhouse to break on the left. Spackman getting back. Bundling Hillhouse down. He couldn't match the pace of the Dutchman. Aberdeen trying to get forward again. There's Walters winning it back in style for Rangers. Johnston's layoff. Stephen to Spackman. Challenge came from Nicholas, but here's Trevor Stephen again. Spackman trying to play it forward. McCoist to Brown.
I mean, this is better by Rangers. At least they've got the ball and they're trying to keep it. We've seen them string the 7 or 8 passes together here. And then up it goes in the air and it's shared.
So the move breaks down with that challenge by Brown on Mason. There's McKimmie. Nodded down carefully by Goff for Butcher. There's Irvin with the header. Dodds underneath it. Stephen to Monroe. Johnston calling for the throw. He's not disappointed by the far side linesman, Gordon Black from Inverness. Here's Johnston to Monroe. Good left-footed cross. Grant heads away. Here's space for Simpson to exploit. Nicholas. No bet. Fiercely tackled by Monroe. No offence there by Monroe. The referee waits play on as Connor has the ball for Aberdeen. Now Grant. Here's Mason. Grant again. And David Odd stepped in to tomahawk that ball back to Chris Woods. Cost £100,000 when he signed from Aberdeen in September. Been doing well with Johnston trying to go in behind him. Turned back there by the Coist to Walters. Here's John Brown. Going to be fouled there by Mason. The referee allows play to continue. If Walters can reach this, there would be an advantage. Well, the throw it is. So McKimmie with the throw for Aberdeen. The news coming from south of the border at Main Road, Manchester. Oldham Athletic have taken the lead in the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester United early on. That kick-off at 3:30, and the scorer was Barrett. Setting up a shock final because Crystal Palace, you may recall, beat Liverpool 4-3 after extra time in the first semi-final. Beaten by Butcher. There's Spackman. Little push there from McCoist on Irvin. No hold up though, still McCoist in possession, testing Bobby Mims. I think the keeper expected that. He saw McCoist set himself here as he stepped away from Brian Irvin. Hit this towards the near post, but the keeper was across. Jamie lofting it forward. Butcher the master in the air again for Rangers. This is Brown. Johnston is well offside. Charlie McLeish coping well so far with his international teammates. Harry McCoist and Boris Johnson. That's a good header on by Hillhouse. Here's Bet. Trying to find Mason making a run to near post area. Good move that from Aberdeen.
It was a beautiful header by Hillhouse in the first place, and Jim Bett looking just to bend one in near post there. Mason went short, went past it, and Charlie came in behind him, but the goalkeeper made a good save.
Great example there of Jim Bett's two-footedness. So comfortable both on the right and on the left. So 5 minutes remaining in the first half, still no scoring. And neither goalkeeper really being called upon at this stage to produce anything too spectacular. Here's Nicholas. That's one for Hillhouse to chase. He had to go for that. It was going to bounce away from him. That's a goal kick to Rangers.
But he does look a good player, Hillhouse. You know, he's one of those players that looks very tidy on the ball and very intelligent player. A couple of the times there he's used his head very intelligently, and I mean by that he's headed the ball very intelligently. He's aware of what's going on around him.
And very anxious too to make a further impression, to enhance his World Cup chances for Holland. He knows there are pictures going from here to Holland. Monroe with a pass back, and Mason was closing in, but Goff made certain there was no error. Connor's header. So a little nudge there by Mason on Monroe. It's a free kick to Rangers, which will be taken by Goff. Johnston to Stephen, but that was a good shooting chance for Trevor Stephen. Well created by Rangers, Maurice Johnston being the provider. But I think Trevor Stephen will be a bit upset he didn't get a better strike-it goal from that opening.
Well, Trevor today has at least got himself into goal-scoring positions, John. That one there, a little volley and well wide of the target. But he's got in there on about 3 occasions, hasn't he? And that is important for Rangers, to have him get in there and another midfield players getting forward.
There's Bet and Connor. Now Simpson. Getting away from Spackman and from Dodds. Bet to Connor. Connor running into Walters, but Bet picks it up again. There's Simpson. Good return pass. Here's Bet. Patient play by Aberdeen. A little bit casual though, that pass from Bet, allowing Stephen to intercept. Trying to bend that up the line there for Walters, but it's a throw to Rangers. So there's Stuart Monroe. Played forward by Johnston. McCoy goes in. Mims has to punch clear. Well, Mims made up his mind. He was very decisive there. Came out to make certain there was no mistake with any attempt to catch the ball. Here's Walters and Stephen. Pulling it back for McCoist. Superb play at the byline there from Trevor Stephen. He really does look the player most likely to open up the Aberdeen defence.
Marvellous cross. Beautiful cross. And really, you know, Ali will be looking to say, well, I might hit the target there. Look how he just hooked that round. There was McCoist. And really, he'll be disappointed with that one, Jock.
Looked as though McCoist was surprised that Stephen had been able to get that in.
Well, yes, he would be surprised, but at the same time, he did get a good head on it, didn't he?
Brown's header. Here's Johnston taking that brilliantly on the run, trying to get away from Irvin. That's a foul against Johnston. Frustration creeping in there. He was beaten fair and square by Brian Irvin and showed his frustration with a very rough challenge from the rear on Irvin, who is clearly in some pain and will require treatment from the Aberdeen physio.
I think it was a case here of the big strong fella being just a little bit too weighty for the little man. Actually, he's had a very good game, hasn't he? He's had a very good game. He's obviously injured his neck in some way.
This appeared to relate to the landing more than anything else, I think. Well, it almost a whiplash effect there as he fell.
That's right, it's the old car crash.
Well, a bit of concern here now for the Aberdeen management as Davy Wiley, the physio, gives treatment to Brian Irvin, who, as Ian St John says, has been playing extremely well for Aberdeen. Alex Smith looking on in pensive fashion. He certainly won't want to change anything at the moment at the back for Aberdeen. Irvin doing a superb job standing in for Willie Miller this season, since Willie Miller's operation in November. Bet back to Connor. Goff's header. Simpson, first time forward, but Monroe will get there first. On his better foot, the left for the pass back. Well, not quite enough of the creative stuff in the first half, Ian.
No, it's been a stop-start game, a bit scrappy. Too many fouls for my liking. The game's never really settled into a pattern. But there's been little inklings that there's certain players on the field with a lot of ability on both sides that if the game could settle down, you know, I think we could see some more efforts and goal job. But at the moment, you know, it's only the occasional flash we get from, say, McCoy's, Johnson, Walters down at this end, and up the other end, Hillhouse and Charlie Nicholas.
So the high ball misjudged there by Brown and Hillhouse. There will be a bit of stoppage time in this first half. We're into that already. We had 60 seconds time added on. And, of course, there were these stoppages for Gary Stevens, for Ian Ferguson, and there for Brian Irvin. So the referee may play a couple of minutes more. You just joined us, still no scoring here at Pittodrie. Rangers have lost Gary Stevens and Ian Ferguson through injury. And they've used their substitutes, John Brown and Davy Dodds. There's John Brown now for Rangers. Rangers started the match very well indeed when they had their original starting lineup. Then Aberdeen came more into it as Rangers tried to reorganise. Good tackle there by Walters. The match at this stage undoubtedly is very evenly poised indeed. And the referee blows for half-time. There's the scoreline. No goals in the first half. A lot of disappointing play in terms of fouls in that first half, but also evidence of some outstanding players in view. Watch us in the second half, and we'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back to Pittodrie half-time score. Aberdeen 0, Rangers 0. Gordon, I think it's safe to say not a classic. There might be a prize on offer for the team that can string 3 passes together.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been a very disappointing first half. There's been no real chances at all. Chris Woods hasn't had a great deal to do. Bobby Mintz hasn't had a great deal to do. There's only sort of a little half chance. McCoy's in the first half. So there's not been a great deal in the game, and they're not really stringing passes together at all. But I mean, I suppose when there's such a lot at stake, it's understandable.
Edgy Aberdeen for the first 10-15 minutes, and Rangers might have cashed in.
Yeah, they looked a bit hesitant at the back, surprisingly enough, early on in the game, and Rangers were pressing forward a bit, but then things started to swing Aberdeen's way. But McCoy and Johnson and Gielhouse and Nicholas aren't getting much change out of either defence.
Talking about Charlie Nicholas, the first shot at goal came from him. He's always so dangerous in these sort of situations, isn't he? Yeah, he does really well here, sort of toe pokes at the end, and in actual fact, I think Charlie's been the one in the Aberdeen forward that's looked most likely in the first half, although he hasn't had a great deal of the ball. But if he gets a little bit more this half, you never know, we might see a goal from Charlie. There was, of course, that penalty claim, which there was a fair bit of reaction to behind us. Robert Connor handled it, but did he mean it? No, definitely not. He's jumped up here, he's got on top of Johnson's bar, he's rolled down his arm, and Davy Symes dead right there. In actual fact, Davy Symes refereed the game very well in the first half. It was never a penalty. There was a fair old blue scrum down around David Syme after that, wasn't there? Yeah, well, I think that's only natural. Rangers, of course, lost Gary Stevens and Ian Ferguson in that first half. A fair bit of disruption for them. Yeah, just about the time the game was getting a bit niggly. Heelhouse fouled Ferguson, a rather bad foul. Earlier on, Gary Stevens put it over in his ankle, and it has disrupted Rangers because they've got a left-back, Stuart Monroe playing at right-back. They've got Davy Dodds, a centre-forward, playing midfield, and it's not helped him at all. And I think Rangers now will be quite happy just to play out the rest of the game, not conceding a goal. Mark Walters is always a dangerous man. Aberdeen at times gave him too much room, and this was a good chance, wasn't it? Well, the Charlie for Aberdeen comes here, and you've seen Mark Walters do this plenty of times in television this season. Looks up, tries to dink it over Bobby Mintz, and just a little bit. Just swung a little bit wide there, but he's been at Charlie Nicholas for Aberdeen. He's been the player most likely to score a goal for Rangers or do something. The one or two little bits of entertainment we've had in the first half have came from him. Rangers did have the ball in the net. It was ruled offside, but our replay angle, seems to cast some doubt on that. Well, I think I've just caught him offside there because defences like Aberdeen and Rangers now, they've perfected the offside trap, and I think, well, I mean, there's not a great deal in it. Maybe just a hint of offside there, but not a great deal in it. No. What's being said in those dressing rooms over there? Well, I think Graham Souness would be quite happy to hold on to a point, which more or less guarantees them the championship. And I think Alex Smith's got to say, well, look, boys, nothing to lose. Let's go out and have a go. Get Connor forward, get McKimmie forward, get Mason in supporting the strikers. If it means leaving Irvin and McLeish a little bit isolated at the back, so be it. So get everything again and nothing to lose now. OK, that's great. Join us again after this break. go again, half-time. It's goalless at Pittodrie. Gordon, some flashes from Heelhouse, some flashes from Walters. They can't touch you for it. We're looking for some more flowing football in the second half, aren't we?
Yeah, flashes, but not enough flashes. I mean, there hasn't really been enough goal-mouth action in the first half, and obviously I'll look for a lot more this half. But it's very difficult because the pitch at 2 o'clock, looked at it this afternoon, the sprinklers have been on, the pitch looked lovely. But obviously in this weather, the sun's dried it out a bit. It's a little bit bobbling. It's hard to get a passing game going.
Gary Stevens already having suffered on that patch. Let's go back to the commentary box. Let's rejoin Ian St John and Jock Brown. Looking forward to more goalmouth action in the second half.
Very confident, Rob, that the second half will be very different, because that first half got bogged down early on. It was full of nasty, niggly little fouls, and the match never was allowed to flow. And it certainly was a disappointment for Ian St John. I know that because he's up here from England. He hasn't seen too many Premier League matches this season. Ian, it was disappointing.
Well, it was a disappointing game because I'd built myself up that this was going to be a classic game, and it's not lived up to its billing so far. But I was just thinking at half-time here that if Rangers decide to sit back and go for the point, that might be playing into Aberdeen's hands, you know, Jock, because they've got a lot of skillful little players up front there, and if Rangers sit back in their own penalty area, I think, you know, Aberdeen could inflict some damage on them. I think the best policy of Rangers is to push them out and play as they have been doing, you know, keep them out there up towards the halfway line, and make, if anything's going to happen, then it's going to happen with a longer ball, which suits Rangers.
What do you think the Aberdeen management team of Alex Smith and Jockey Scott might have been saying to their men at half-time?
Well, I think what they'll have been saying is, you know, just keep the pace of the game up and, you know, pressurise the Rangers, try to get it in their penalty area, and keep trying to play football, because I think Aberdeen play a nice brand of football, and they should be trying to settle into that pattern. You know, Jim Bett, I feel, is a player who epitomises that. He's a very good player, good, skillful footballer, and others have got to try and follow that pattern.
So the teams are back on the field, the confidence there. Mason, Hillhouse and Nicholas, the Aberdeen front three, having a little discussion. The referee, David Syme, checks his watch as he prepares to get the game back underway. Rangers with their disrupted lineup now, with Tuirtman-Rodd right back, Davy Dodds at midfield, replacing Gary Stevens, who has twisted his ankle, and Ian Ferguson is also out with a twisted knee. These two still walking around, but not fit enough to be on the field. And it's Aberdeen now trying to get forward. But here's Maurice Johnston. And the news, I can tell you, from Main Road, Manchester, is that Manchester United have equalised against Oldham in the FA Cup semi-final. Rangers trying to get forward there, and that's a careful one for Bobby Mims to take from Nigel Spackman. And the equalising goal scored by Brian Robson, so Alec Ferguson's dilemma about whether or not to play his skipper certainly answered correctly, going by that equalising goal. So 1-1 Oldham against Manchester United. So here at Pittodrie it's still 0-0 as John Brown sets up his fellow substitute at the start of the match, Davy Dodds. This is Stephen, the far post cross, but no one there because McCoist had come short. And Johnston was also in the same area as McCoist at that moment. So an easy task there for Bobby Mims in the Aberdeen goal. Headed away there by Brown. There's Johnston. Irvin nods it away. There's Brown quickly in on Mason. McKimmie switching it across to Connor. Good running by Hillhouse, followed by Goff. Inside is Nicholas. Now Bett. Sliding it in there, looking for Mason. Hooked away by Walters. That'll be a throw to Aberdeen. But Aberdeen always look as though they might profit from any moves on the left, with Bett at the heart of it all, and Hillhouse and Nicholas willing to link with him. Nicholas holding it out. Here's Grant. Now Connor. Nicholas well tackled by by Butcher rather. Spackman tidies up with the pass back. Some signs that Aberdeen appear to be determined to play the ball to the feet of Nicholas and Hillhouse as much as they can. Walters heading that on for the Aberdeen throw. McKimmie overshooting Nicholas. Off to Butcher, and the attentions of Mason ensure that ball is played back to Woods. Niggly for the header. This is Bet. That's one for Hillhouse to chase, using his pace there against Monroe. And Monroe reacted very well indeed for Rangers. He has done extremely well at right back since crossing over after Gary Stevens went off.
It was a delightful ball in the first place by Bet, and Monroe did well hooking his left foot round him there, because Hillhouse looked to me just to have an edge in pace.
Came off the head of McLeish. He's up again. This time it's Spackman. Bobby Mims playing his 8th match. He's only had one shutout so far for Aberdeen. Only once though on the losing side. That was against Hibs. 3-2 defeated Easter Road. Free kick goes to Rangers. As Walters goes down. So here's John Brown looking for movement from McCoist and Johnston. They don't disappoint him either, but that's won by Irvin. Spackman trying to work a little move there with McCoist. Here's John Brown. Well tackled by Mason. Recovery made by Brown. And the recovery tackle adjudged illegal by referee Syme. It's a free kick to Aberdeen. A bit of frustration there for Brown. McLeish playing it wide. Here's Hillhouse with Connor behind him. Nicholas coming off Butcher. Ball still in play. Bet and Hillhouse making progress in the left. In comes Butcher. Connor robbed neatly by McCoist. In goes McLeish. Goff lofts it forward again. McKimmie wins the high ball. There's Simpson. Every touch from Neil Simpson getting a roar of approval from the Aberdeen fans. Some difficulty of the players watching the ball coming out of the sun from that angle from Woods' kickouts.
And that will only get worse, Jock, as this half moves on. I was thinking that, you know, that possibly later in the game, because it doesn't look to me as if the clouds are going to come over, that any ball played into the penalty area is going to be a problem ball for Bobby Mims.
There's Brown's throw. McKimmie wins it. Butcher challenged well there by Mason, but Goff is at the back for Rangers. Still neither side able to develop any passing movements from the middle of the field. The only prospect of real creative play appears to be when the ball goes in the flanks like this with Jim Bett for Aberdeen. Tackled well by Monroe. Simpson battling hard with Stephen. Connor drags the ball away, but here's McCoist in a break. Well tackled by Irvin. Good play that by the Aberdeen defender Brian Irvin. Aberdeen putting passes together again, coming from defence. And if you waving play on, he's given two advantages, I reckon, so far as Aberdeen sweep forward. There's Grant. That's played easily by Butcher. Charlie Nicholas is still on the ground inside the centre circle. I reckon that was good refereeing by David Syme. Could easily have stopped the match twice, but with Aberdeen in possession, allowed it to flow.
It'll be interesting to see if he says anything to Goff once the game does stop.
And Maurice Johnston has gone down all on his own. I wonder if he has gone over an ankle or stumbled awkwardly, but the referee now allowing attention for Johnston and for Charlie Nicholas, who's never recovered from that earlier tackle from Richard Goff. So more work for the physios who've been involved far too much for the supporters' liking. Here was Aberdeen, though, building up this move. Connor inside. Gets the return pass there from Neil Simpson. Good bit of play from defence from Aberdeen. This was Neil Simpson. Caught late by Dodds. That could have been a foul. And that certainly was a foul by Gough on Nicholas. But with Grant in possession, the referee allowed the play to continue. So that's how Charlie Nicholas came by his injury. Wallace Johnston is back on his feet, looking a little bit groggy. Not at all clear how he came by that injury. There appeared to be no Aberdeen player near him when he fell over. Played by Walters for Johnston. He's tackled well by McLeish. Here's Mason. Nicholas. Simpson well challenged by Butcher. Back with Walters. Another good tackle by McLeish. Breaks from Spackman to Bet.
You have to say, Jock, some excellent tackling. It's not often you see that in a football game where players go in for the ball 100% and get a good tackle in.
Two Aberdeen central defenders in particular coping extremely well, McLeish and Irvine. Here's Irvine again. A hopeful ball forward. Hans Hillhouse having a long-range word with Irvine, indicating where you would have preferred the pass. McKimmie to Irvine. There's Spackman. Well, couldn't make up his mind, I reckon, whether to look for Johnston or McCoist. Found neither in the end. And here's Connor. Tackle came from McCoist. Well, Connor leaving the throw. I'm not quite sure why. He's going to protest to referee's sign, but McCoist did appear to throw the ball to the correct spot. So Simpson switching the play to the right through Irvine.
I tell you what, the Rangers front two, McCoist and Johnson, are working hard, aren't they? I mean, that's both sides of the field there. McCoist this side, Johnson the other side, and making sure that the Aberdeen boys don't get a free kick at the ball.
There's Mark Walters. Played forward by Irvine. Butcher forced to turn. And that was because Charlie Nicholas cut off the route to Woods. So a clumsy touch there by Butcher, conceding the throw. Aberdeen getting some vocal support now. There's Nicholas. Stopped by Brown. There appeared to be a hand used there. The referee's given a free kick to Rangers. Well, the tackle on John Brown. Charlie Nicholas clearly wants to know what the free kick was given for. So Chris Wood still required to make a save of note in the match. Here's Grant. It's cut off by Stephen. Here's Johnston now. McCoist. What a great tackle again from Alex McLeish.
Super tackle by Alex McLeish, because McCoist was clean through if he got past Big Alec there. Here it comes up. Lovely.
Well, he only had one chance to stop McCoist, and he took it. Here's Gough. Now Stephen. Using Dodds inside. They're so crowded in that area. Very difficult indeed for any of these players, in the middle of the field in particular, to look up and find a target for a pass. McCoy's forcing that long pass back from Connor. Hillhouse troubling Butcher in the air. Here's Spackman. Walters trying to get his bearings. McLeish heading that against McCoist. Johnston waits in the middle. Linking there with McCoist, and once again Alec McLeish to the rescue of Aberdeen. The referee watching that very closely, need to make sure there was no infringement. And McLeish certainly showing the kind of defensive skills which have earned him 67 Scotland caps.
Yeah, I mean that following on the one he made before was a superb tackle again, wasn't it? Because the front two for Rangers are looking very sharp, playing nice little 1-2s with each other, and there Big Alec, reading the script, made the tackle.
And referee Syme upsetting the Aberdeen fans, giving a free kick against Hans Hillhouse for boring into Stuart Monroe as that ball was in the air. We're booing you here from the Aberdeen supporters. Kimmy's header. Here's Brian Grant. Nicholas making space for himself well, but the final pass a disappointment. Seemed to be trying to do that in too much of a hurry, having made the space for himself. Coyce helps it on. There's Johnston. And Vett has no qualms about the long pass back, allowing Aberdeen to build again through Robert Connor at left back. There's Nicholas. Now Connor. Nicholas again. Well, complaining to his teammates, there was nothing on ahead of him. Not happy about the lack of movement ahead. There's Bett. That's gone straight to Walters. Down goes Spackman, tackled by Grant. And Aberdeen have reorganised their midfield, pushing Jim Bett right into the middle with Simpson now on the left. Here's McCoist battling hard with Irvin. Back to Brown. Bett playing it forward. 60 minutes on the clock. Still no scoring here, Pittodrie. And clearly a situation which Rangers will prefer. Aberdeen requiring both points if they're to cling to any remaining slim hopes of the championship. Dodds to Monroe. Monroe driving forward, but on his weaker foot he has to check back inside to his left. This is Spackman. Trevor Stephen pops up on the right. Good running again by Monroe. Looking it back with his right foot, straight to McLeish. Good play by Stephen. Here's Spackman. Johnston. Now Dodds. Rangers probing patiently now, looking for an opening. Stephen on his left foot. Moved away by Connor to Monroe. Here's Johnston. Now Trevor Stephen. Far post cross looking for McCoist. Controlling the ball well. It's back now with Spackman. Now McCoist again. The angle shot and a fine effort there from McCoist. Lots of patience about that build-up, and Ali McCoist almost pulled off the perfect finish.
Well, it's not before time that Rangers played a little bit of football and they almost got the reward for it. It was a lovely move. As you say, they were very patient. They were probing away. They were playing the ball into feet, which is very important. And if they get a service into the two front players, McCoist and Johnson are so dangerous. And that was a great effort by McCoist.
Grant forced into the pass back. So we're seeing some good defensive play and some good attacking play, but the middle of the field is the area where we're not seeing the kind of creative play you'd expect from two teams of this quality. There's Nicholas. This is Simpson. Playing it through for Hillhouse. Good anticipation shown there by Woods. He was off his line very smartly indeed, because Hillhouse did have an opening here. Good pass this from Simpson. Hillhouse would have made it, but for the attentions there of Woods. Dodds forcing it forward, but straight to Connor. Simpson. McLeish to Connor. Good play by McLeish again. There's Irvine with that. Clearance goes straight to Dodds.
I mean, he had the player wide outside him there. He had McKimmie on his right-hand side. He should have knocked it straight out to him. There's McKimmie now. Just as McLeish
Did to order. Here's Mason. Caught by Butcher. No complaint by Butcher about the free kick being awarded. He knows he was in there late. So, free kick to Aberdeen for this challenge on Paul Mason. He stepped back neatly there on Butcher and was taken down. And now a change being made by Aberdeen. It's a very aggressive one at that. Neil Simpson getting a warm round of applause as he departs. He's done enough after such a long layoff. 10 weeks he's been out. He goes off, and the replacement is the hero of the Skull Cup semi-final, Ian Cameron, the £300,000 signing from St Mirren, who also has had injury problems. Alex Smith on the internal telephone with the instructions. Bet flooding it in. There's the header. And it was Hillhouse battling for that. Hans Hillhouse coming very close indeed here, getting up very well to this ball, nodding it towards the target. It got a deflection wide of the post. So corner kick to Aberdeen. There's Jim Bett. Irvine and McLeish hanging back at the edge of the box to make a run. There's McLeish. Goff wins it from Irvine. Return by McKimmie. Cameron trying to become involved. Irvine's taking a blow at the side of the head. Ball turned back by Connor. And Ian Cameron has gone straight to a wide position on the left for Aberdeen. Hillhouse has gone to a more central position beside Charlie Nicholas. Mason on the right, Bett in the centre, and Grant on the left side of midfield now. There's Mason. Here's Brian Grant with a chance. Superb goalkeeping by Chris Woods. The save of the match, without any question at all, and a magnificent move this from Aberdeen. Brian Grant doing everything right, and the courage and the timing of Woods saves Rangers. Well, Aberdeen undoubtedly encouraged by that excellent move. Played in by Bett, headed away by Brown, straight back to Jim Bett. The outswinger this time. There goes McLeish. Once again it's Woods. Aberdeen have burst to life. Fine hanging cross here from Jim Bett. McLeish towering him of everyone with that header, and Woods takes it cleanly.
Well, the big Rangers central defenders are knocking their heads to the crosses, because that's about three headers in a row we've seen the Aberdeen boys getting. So I think you've got to ask questions about them. But it's nice to see the game has come to life, and Aberdeen doing the pressing.
And Chris Woods showing the kind of form which has forced him into the England international squad again. Touched on by Johnston. There's McLeish. Here's Paul Mason. Got back a little to the wide position on the right side of midfield. Walter sprinting back to challenge. Mason goes down, but the foul goes Rangers' way, I think. Yes, Mason was the original offender on Walters.
Matt Walters actually did a terrific job for Rangers there, getting back and making that tackle, because Paul Mason had beaten the first offender and was clean through. But that's the job required now of players playing wide in midfield like that. You know, apart from doing their attacking job, they've got to go back, fill the holes, help the defenders. And Walter certainly did that there.
So at the midway point in the second half, there's still no scoring here at Pittodrie. But that is thanks to the save made a moment ago by Chris Woods from Brian Grant. Here's Connor. Back with McLeish. Spinning away from Cameron. He'll take some time to warm to his task, I reckon. So Woods in no particular hurry to get this ball forward. Defeat the only really unacceptable result for Rangers this afternoon. Here's Brown. Headed away by Irvine. Here's Terry Butcher. The dummy from McCoy. There's Johnston. Been allowed to turn. Walters has gone to the right. Here's Grant. Now Cameron. Using Bet in the middle. Get himself away from Dodds to find McKimmie on the right. Good play from Aberdeen. Played in by Mason. Stephen back defending. There's Bet. Now Grant. Bet once again. Tried to play that wide for McKimmie. Irvine did well, stretching in there to beat Johnston. It's back with Bet. Connor shows himself on the near side, the left. Here's Brian Grant. Again, set up for Connor. Too high for Nicholas. And a tidy piece of play in defence from John Brown. Headed away there by Irvine. He took a blow in the face though from Johnston in the same moment. An accidental one, no question about that, but that looked to be a solo for Brian Irvine. The play continuing. Irvine's back on his feet unsteadily as Hillhouse breaks, trying to get the better of Monroe, and this time Aberdeen have the free kick. Hillhouse.
He's certainly got a bit of pace, Jock, hasn't he, Hillhouse? I mean, Monroe was going flat out there, and Hillhouse, who was a yard behind him at the start, certainly got past him. Monroe's complaining about the foul.
Brian Irvine is there getting some treatment. He seemed to take Maurice Johnson's head in his face just as he won the ball in the air. As Johnson tried to reach it, there was a clash and some damage at the bridge of the nose, I think. Well, Davy Wiley, the Aberdeen physio, has been a very busy man this afternoon, as has Phil Boersma for Rangers. So let's see how Brian Irvine came by his injury, if we can. Well, it appeared to be an elbow that was flying there, which caught him. Certainly, I'm convinced no intent on the part of Johnston. He was trying to reach the ball. Irvine won it cleanly, but took that flying elbow in the face.
In fact, Mo's got a bit of a bruised elbow there.
So Irvine, who's played superbly for Aberdeen in defence, thinking about coming forward, but I think he'll stay back meantime while Jim Bett prepares to take this free kick. McLeish is in the box, marked by Butcher. Bett playing it in low, headed away by Spackman. And Woods allowed that to bounce towards him as Stuart McKimmie came racing in. The Rangers defenders taking no offence about the challenge made by McKimmie, and Woods had to accelerate at the last moment. He didn't realise just how quick McKimmie was. Irvine's header. Cameron, all he can do was keep the ball in. Nicholas wins it ahead of Goff. The referee says there was no foul.
There can't be a foul there, really, because Charlie came in from behind Goff and just went to the ball as Goff was going for the ball. Certainly never a foul.
Well, I have to say from this angle it looked to me a little bit differently, but that's the game of football, a matter of opinions. Well, let's see it again.
There you are, never a foul.
We'll still agree to differ on that. Brown's header, there's Mason winning it. Brown certainly went in recklessly. The referee ways play on with Aberdeen in possession. And you have to give the referee credit for wanting the game to flow as much as possible. It was stopped so frequently and inevitably in the first half. He's determined that it will carry on as much as possible in the second. Aberdeen still have possession. The referee may think of having a word though with John Brown when the ball is out of play.
Yes, I think John Brown was very fortunate that he didn't catch anybody, because, I mean, it was a really reckless tackle. You know, he just jumped up there, boots flying everywhere.
Headed away by Butcher. Here's Mason. Now McLeish. Aberdeen for the moment looking the more positive side. Here's Stuart McKimmie. Staying on his feet and eventually going down. And the referee has given a free kick, and now he's going to, no, he's given a goal kick, but he's going to have a word with John Brown. Now, clearly, he's giving him a little bit of a warning about that earlier challenge. Not about this one. McKimmie a bit unlucky. Had he gone down there, he would have had a foul. Brown certainly appeared to be blameless on that occasion. But he is in trouble for the earlier challenge on Paul Mason, which did not make contact. Remember the time when the referee played the advantage rule, and now he's booking Brown. And, well, that doesn't appear to be in any way an injustice, bearing in mind the level of the challenge made by Brown on Mason. Well, the referee certainly had a long memory there. The play ran some considerable time before it stopped.
Yes, but I think the referee was 100% right to boot Brown for that one, because, you know, you can't get away with something simply because the referee has played advantage.
Challenge made by Spackman. There is McLeish. Headed away by Goff, and Stephen is forced to play it back to Chris Woods. So 15 minutes of the match remaining. There's still no scoring. Aberdeen pushing forward now as the game wears on. They're the side who should be hungrier. The draw certainly would effectively end their championship hopes, slim as they would be with a victory. Here's Grant trying to find Cameron. This is McLeish. Loping forward here as he does so frequently to good effect for Aberdeen. This is Cameron. Nicholas setting it up for Bet. Mason is wide on the right. Very ambitious, that effort from Jim Bet. Not a great deal on. The marking was very tight ahead of him as he tried that effort from fully 30 yards. And with Chris Woods looking very sharp indeed, it was unlikely to worry him seriously. Irvin's header. This is Connor. Goff goes across well ahead of Nicholas.
The game gone a bit stagnant again, Jock, after that little flurry we had before, but that's quite a bang in the nose there he has, isn't it, Irvin?
Irvin and Johnston missed that. The reason, according to the referee, was because Johnston gave Irvin a little nudge, and it is a free kick. Yes, Ryan Irvin's face certainly does look the worse for wear after that blow around the eye. The bridge of the nose there, the cut, the blood leaking. Well, the new FIFA rules for the World Cup will certainly ensure any player leaking blood would have to leave the field. Did a good header on. And Cameron beating the ball by Monroe. Hillhouse it was who helped that on. This is Bet. McKimmie battling hard, winning possession well for Aberdeen. Attacking John Brown, it breaks to the far side for Mason. Back with McKimmie. Well, no one coming in from the far side there, and that made it easy for Monroe, for Rangers.
The shades of Argentina there with McKimmie coming in and that one, but I was on his left foot, unfortunately.
There's Stuart McKimmie playing before Scotland's coach Andy Roxburgh this afternoon to make an impression to enhance his World Cup prospects. There's Goff across to Brown. McCoy sets off for this. Mervyn wins it. He manages to keep the ball in play. Well, the referee has given a free kick to Rangers, which Butcher will take. I think you can tell from the lack of urgency about the free kick that Rangers appear to be quite content to play the match out for a draw, but that will be a corner kick, giving them an opportunity to put pressure on the Aberdeen defence. Stephen and Walters have gone across. Two Aberdeen men are there also. Walters playing that against Jim Bett. But they're just ahead of Stephen. Good play by Hillhouse. Knew exactly what he was doing. Setting it up there for Grant. Then Cameron. This is promising for Aberdeen. A bit of play off the ball there, upsetting the Aberdeen fans as Hillhouse was prevented from continuing his run in support of this attack. The referee appeared to be close to the play. He may have picked that up. Bett playing it through the inside right channel, looking for Mason. Brown nods it back. And the referee is having a word with Terry Butcher off the ball, which perhaps suggests that he was involved in that incident with Hillhouse. So 10 minutes remaining, still no scoring. Brown lofts it forward to catch McCoy's offside.
Well, a dangerous time now for Rangers if they want to sit back and think that a point might be sufficient, Jock, because you know, sometimes when you do that, you're just inviting trouble.
Well, especially in view of the quality of the Aberdeen frontmen inside the box. Hillhouse, Nicholas and Cameron have all shown how skillful they are in that area. That's well won by Goff. Here's Connor. Closed down rapidly by Stephen. Any word from FA Cup? So still 1-1 at Main Road, Oldham against Manchester United. Here's Connor, back to McLeish. Now Bett. Here's McCoist. Back with Dodds, and now Spackman. Good possession play by Rangers. Well, this is certainly the way to keep Aberdeen at bay. Keep the ball with good possession play, and that's a good tackle again by McLeish. Here's Connor. So it's a throw to Rangers, taken there by Walters. By Monroe to Walters, rather. Walters forced out there, giving another opportunity for Rangers from the throw-in. Here's Maurice Johnston, back with Stephen. Lofting that across, looking for McCoist. The marker is McKimmie. The referee's given a free kick against McCoist. So here's Bobby Mims setting up Aberdeen again from the back with Connor and McLeish. Glencoe has certainly enhanced his international prospects with a fine display. That pass not so good though.
Well, it's not been typical of him today, giving the ball away like that. He's had an excellent game, Alex McLeish. Defensively, he's been outstanding, and he's always been prepared to take the ball as he did there from his fullbacks and come out and try and play as well.
McLeish beaten to that by Johnston. There's Brian Grant. What a movement up front from the Aberdeen front men. Now Connor. Hillhouse calling for the ball through the middle. Connor plays a 1-2 with referee sign, gets it back to Bet. Here's Cameron. Now Mason. Cameron again. Nicholas. Not quite what he intended, I reckon, but there's Mason heading it in. And Rangers now in the break with Walters. Irvin playing that against McCoy's for an Aberdeen throw. Mason turning well. He's away from Spackman. Well, he had options ahead of him. He had Hillhouse on the left, Nicholas on the right, Grant on the far left, but Mason chose to have a shot at goal. It was great play to get away from Spackman in the first instance, but then tried that left foot effort, looking to add to the 15 goals he scored this season.
It was worth a pop, Jock. You know, I know you were saying there was other players to play up, but he got himself into a reasonable position. Had he cracked it properly, you know, I think it was the right thing to do.
McLeish across to Connor. Here's Hillhouse. Here's Hillhouse again, turning well. A great chance for Aberdeen. And Hillhouse beats the ground in frustration. Well, he's threatened all afternoon. This was the best chance he's created for himself. Turning inside Richard Gough onto his right foot, drilling that ball just wide of the far post.
Well, this boy has got marvellous skills. You know, I mean, I do think the Dutch players are all very good players, but I mean, he's definitely got to be one that could edge his way into the World Cup team, Joe.
So 5 minutes of the match left for play. Still no goals here at Pittodrie, but certainly a tense ending to the match coming up. There's likely to be no way back for either side now if a goal is scored. Here's McCoy's. Winkling the ball back there to Dodds. This is Spackman forcing his way to that midfield area, looking for Walters. This is McLeish to Connor. Too long for Hillhouse. Well taken down by Gough. Sidestepping his man neatly. Picking out Walters. That tackle came from Mason. Johnston turning away from Brown. This is Dodds. Now Spackman. And Gough appeared to be very cool there. He realised the ball would reach him, although he was being put under a lot of pressure. Good header on there by Johnston, ahead of McLeish, but McCoy couldn't take advantage. Butcher's header. There's Johnston. Cleared by Irvin. Turned forward by Spackman. Johnston holding Irvin's jersey, but the big Aberdonian was able to hold him off. The referee saw that, again allowed the advantage. Mason winning it for Cameron. Just 3 minutes remaining as Bet looks for an opening for Aberdeen. This is McKimmie. Stopped well by Spackman. That was a good tackle. This is Walters now in the break. Johnston and McCoy's that up. McKimmie's stranded upfield at the moment. Misunderstanding there between Walters and McCoy. Here's Richard Goff. So the singing now coming to the beach end where the Rangers fans are gathered, and they clearly see the match safely through to certainly to a draw, and that means yet another vital point towards the Premier League Championship. Back from Mason, McLeish to Connor. Now can either side produce a dramatic lead winner? Just 2 minutes left. This is Connor, forced to go across field. There's Cameron. Back now with Irvin. Irvin's in trouble. Here's McCoist. He has Johnston inside him. Connor's header. Well taken by Bett. He's away from Stephen. Now Grant. Bett again. Met there by Butcher. Breaks for Grant on the far side. That pass was intended for Mason. Shot struck firmly enough. Here's John Brown. Well, he caught in 2 minds there. A misunderstanding with McCoist. There's McLeish sending it forward. Up goes Goff. Hillhouse has possession for Aberdeen. Always a buzz of expectancy when he has the ball. Getting across the far side, Cameron will have to chase. He's done well to reach it. Returning it early, but Woods is unchallenged there as he makes the catch. Well, disappointing match overall, Ian.
Well, overall, yes, but the second half at least we've had a bit of goalmouth action, a few chances at either end. But over the piece, you know, I think looking at Rangers, you wouldn't say this was a championship winning performance.
Here's McCoy trying to find a way past McLeish, which has proved extremely difficult this afternoon. But Rangers do have a corner kick.
You know, the championship is won. We're going away from home in tough games like this and getting a point, and the Rangers will be happy, I suppose, at the end of the day, if it does end all square. We'll have to wait and see what happens from this corner kick.
Butcher has not gone forward, neither has Goff. And there goes the final whistle. Referee David Syme brings the match to an end. No goals in a keenly contested match, which didn't flow too often with creative football, but we did see some fine individual performances in defence from McLeish and Irvin. Johnston worked hard with McCoist up front for Rangers, and Hillhouse and Nicholas did likewise up front for Aberdeen. But in the end, Rangers have a crucial point, and surely now the Aberdeen Championship challenge is over. The final score at Pittodrie, Aberdeen 0, Rangers 0. Don't go away, we'll be right back after this break.
Hello again, the Rangers fans then singing in the sunshine behind me. Not a classic of a game, but a point nearer the Premier Championship for them. They play Motherwell next week. Gordon McQueen, as we said, not the most wonderful match to watch, but another important point for Rangers.
Very much so. In actual fact, in saying that, I thought the second half was a lot better than the first half, but it's a game that it's a point that more or less clinches the championship for Rangers. Obviously, the other managers, Malik McDonald, Alex Smith, will be saying until it's mathematically impossible, we won't give up. But I think it's over and done with now, and the league championship's going to Ibrox.
Aberdeen pushed ahead in the second half as they had to, but they couldn't just get it going inside the penalty box. No. And Chris Woods made that great save.
Yeah, Chris was a great save off Grant, and they did push forward, but I think they realised then that they had to win. I mean, a point was no good to them, and Jim Bett started controlling the midfield and get things going a bit. But there was a lot of good defending out there. I mean, you're looking at some of the best defenders in Britain playing there today. Goff, Butcher, Ali McLeish, who was absolutely brilliant for Aberdeen, and for my man of the match. There was some terrific tackles in the second half.
Let's look at some of the second half incidents, starting with Ali McCoist's turn and shot, which went perilously close.
This is a finish, a real good build-up. There, a lot of possession here. Ali turns, great at that, just drifts past the post.
That's him at his best, isn't it?
Yeah, it was their only real chance in the second half. Well, it's not even a chance, it's a half chance, and just drifts past Bobby Minsley's left-hand post.
Then Aberdeen began to drive forward, and this was a glorious chance, wasn't it, for Brian Grant? I thought he maybe overran it slightly, but it was a tremendous save.
Maybe just wouldn't sit down in time. But I mean, that's great goalkeeping, and that's why he's an England international. Very, very brave there, out and dived at the feet of Brian Grant. Terrific save.
Aberdeen were trying to keep on the pressure, and from the corner which followed that, taken by substitute Ian Cameron, Alec McLeish again tested Chris Woods.
Yeah, they were under a lot of pressure at this moment in time. I mean, Chris Woods handled that quite easily, but they had 3 or 4 attacks there, Aberdeen, and just might have scored, but never. And the game petered out a bit after that.
Do you think Aberdeen lacked some imagination in their attacks, or do you give credit to the Rangers' defence?
Oh, certainly the Rangers' defence. I mean, they've proved by the goals against column this year they've got the best defence in the league, and they proved that today. Never conceded. They came here. They got a point under the circumstances, which was terrific, because you take into consideration they've lost Gary Stevens and Ian Ferguson, came away with a point. Graham Souness must be delighted.
Hans Hielhuis was out to impress people in Holland and try and clinch himself a World Cup place. He had a chance in the second half.
Just ran away with his left foot there a little bit. Of course, his left stronger than his right. Hits it with his right here. Never quite got it on target.
Is this a result you think that's going to deflate Aberdeen now in terms of the league? Obviously, they've got the Cup semi-final next week.
Oh, certainly not. I mean, Aberdeen could end up having a magnificent season. They could end up runners-up in the league. They've already won the Scotland Cup, and the possibility of winning the Scottish Cup or getting to the Scottish Cup final at least. I think Alex Smith's done a marvellous job here and a terrific season for them.
Rangers have obviously got every cause to be well happy with what happened here, because they had to rearrange early on, take off 2 key players, bring on Davy Dodds in the middle of the midfield, which is a strange position for him. So, bearing all that in mind, a point is pretty good for them, isn't it?
Smashing when you've got left backs at right back and centre forwards in the middle of the park. You can't change it because both substitutes are going. In actual fact, David Dawes done a good job in the middle of the park today for Rangers.
So it's the Cup for Aberdeen, and they'll obviously be looking forward to that.
Well, I'm sure Jim McLean would disagree with you there, but it should be another smashing game, Aberdeen Dundee United, and we're looking forward to a good game there.
OK, thanks a lot. That's just about all for today, but before we go, we have the draw for the semi-finals of the OVD Junior Cup for you. The draw was made this afternoon at Huntly, and the result of that is this: Linlithgow Rose versus Arthurlie or Hill of Beath, Foldhouse or Lesmahago against Whitburn or Peters Hill, and those ties will be played on the 23rd and the 26th of April. The venues still to be decided on that. And remember, you can see the Junior Cup final live on Scott Sport on Sunday the 20th of May. The latest news I have from the FA Cup final is that Manchester United and Oldham, semi-final I should say, I'm ahead of myself slightly there. It's 1-1, Brian Robson equalised for Manchester United. Hope you've enjoyed what happened here. A goalless draw, Aberdeen against Rangers, the Ibrox side on the march towards the title. Bye-bye.